So there's an interesting fight this weekend, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It's been heavily publicised for people that are, say, over 30 years old. They know who Mike Tyson is, and they were in their youth when Mike Tyson was in his prime. Jake Paul, however, is 27 years old, and his fans likely know nothing about Mike Tyson other than old news or old footage. So you've got young versus old. And what I want to look at is, how can I take money off the bookies this weekend without just kind of guessing? Because I have a feeling this fight is rigged. But trying to work out how the fight is rigged, that's what I'm going to discuss here. So there's no way Mike Tyson's going to win this fight. There's no chance. Mike Tyson is, 58 years old. He used to be a brutal destruction machine, both in the ring and outside of the ring, well known for his issues outside the ring, violence, allegations, prison sentences. He's now 58 years old, and he's done a lot of psychedelic substances which open his mind to different ways of thinking. So he's not the same man anymore. As a 58-year-old man, he's not going to gain anything from beating an up and coming ex-YouTuber who is well known within the social media space. He's not going to gain anything from it. He's 58 years old. And even if some say, well, if Mike Tyson wins, then Jake Paul will get a rematch. He's 58. He's not rematching. So Mike Tyson will not win this fight, because the way it's been publicized to the media is Jake Paul hates Mike Tyson hates Jake Paul. They kind of, on their press conferences, are shouting at each other, pushing each other, but that's just to get you to tune in and watch the fight, because that's how it makes money. Boxing now, in 2024, is more about the event and the entertainment rather than real boxing that Mike Tyson used to do, which is where Jake Paul fits in. It's entertainment now. Boxing is entertainment. That's why we have so many influencers now fighting, where that's how Jake Paul came in. Can he fight? Can he box? Yeah. Jake Paul's a social media influencer. That's how he creates his money, creates his brand. But yes, is he a strong, athletic? Can he box? Yeah, absolutely he can. There's absolutely no benefit to Jake Paul to lose this fight. And Jake Paul would have been the one that set this all up. He's the one in the know with today's world. He's the one that's far more known. He's the one who is in social media where Mike Tyson isn't, because Mike Tyson didn't grow up in social media, wasn't around. So Jake Paul made this fight. There's no way Jake Paul is going to lose this fight. Now you can turn around and say, oh, it's Mike Tyson, there's no shame in losing to Mike Tyson. But how would it further his notoriety, his fame, his push within the social media arena if he lost to Mike Tyson? Imagine the final bell goes, winners Mike Tyson. No shame in losing, but there's no way would he benefit from that. Now, as he's the one who's bringing this to the table, you can say, oh, it's not rigged, you can't be thinking like that. Boxing today can be very much rigged. With sport now being, the entertainment of it being far more important than the results of it. We live in a different era now. Very much, a lot of sport now can be rigged, and is. And it's a lot easier to rig a one-on-one boxing match than it is an 11-on-11 football match. But that still happens. So if I'm Jake Paul and I want to further my career, further my money, further my fame, further my brand, further everything I am as a 27-year-old, and I bring to the table a fight with a legend, there's no way I'd lose. No chance. So that then begs the question of, does he win or is it a draw? Because again, no shame in a draw. Because Mike Tyson walks away, happy days, didn't lose, the young man, good for you. And Jake Paul walks away, didn't lose to the legend that is Mike Tyson. It's win-win. And on top of that, this has been pushed highly on social media more than boxing has ever been done, because that's the space we now live in. It's been brought up as like a theatre production on Netflix, like the way it's been filmed and put together. It's a production. It's a circus. It's an event rather than boxing. That side of things takes far more centre stage than the actual boxing. Now, is there real boxing at play? Yeah. Are they really going to punch each other? Yeah. But is this more about the event rather than a fight? Absolutely it is. And as Jake Paul creates the event, it's no way beneficial to him for him to lose. For him to win, oh, you beat a 58-year-old has-been, whoop-de-fucking-do. Possible. He can then go through the rest of his life with, he beat Mike Tyson, and can use that for the next step, whatever he's doing in his life. A draw would also offer that opportunity. He didn't lose to the greatest, in some people's eyes, the greatest fighter that's ever been, and has furthered his money, his fame, his notoriety, his business that he is. On top of that is the fact that the boxing rounds have become shorter. So there's, instead of 12 rounds, there's 8. So there's less chance of, or there's less time to knock someone out. A boxing fight is usually 36 minutes long. Here it's going to be 16 minutes long. Less than half the time of a boxing match. 12 3-minute rounds normally. This is 8 2-minute rounds. So there's less chance, time-wise, for a knockout. On top of that, the gloves that are being used are far more padded. They're heavier. So being punched by a glove, you're still being punched by a glove. But professional boxers will know that a 14-ounce glove, which is one they're using, is far less likely to knock someone out than, say, a 10-ounce glove, because there's more padding. So again, less chance of a knockout. So looking at those types of rules that have been brought in, it furthers what I said in this video of, it's scripted. There's less than half the time of a normal boxing fight, and the gloves that are being used give less opportunity or power or ability to knock someone out. So that then makes me think, okay, well, is it just going to be the fight goes the distance? Less time to fight, less power as such to knock them out. So is it likely to go the distance? The bookies, however, don't think it'll go the distance. You're looking at 2-1 to go the distance. Now, Mike Tyson is not going to be able to knock out Jake Paul. He's too young. You can go, oh, Mike Tyson, he's 58. He was a brute back in the day, but he's 58 years old. He's not knocking out Jake Paul. And even if he had the ability to do it, there's no way Jake Paul, who brings this fight to the table, is going to allow that. Now, these aren't normal, it's not normal boxing. Mike Tyson's not a registered fighter. This isn't a sanctioned professional bout. So it's whatever rules you want and whatever you want to do. And if there is a contract that says no knockouts, then that's exactly what the fighters will do. And if Jake Paul brings it to the table, there's no way is he going to be like, okay, Mike Tyson, you can, if you can, knock me out. Because if he's allowing Mike Tyson to potentially knock him out, then he's going to have to fight to the point of stopping him, so he's going to knock him out. And what benefit is that to Jake Paul to knock out an old man? It might actually be worse for him moving forward in the arena of boxing if he knocks out some old man. It's far more beneficial to him as a brand, because that's what he is, to either beat him on points, so the man still stands, Mike Tyson still stands, or it's a draw, so he hasn't lost to the greatest fighter of all time in some people's eyes. There's detriment to knocking out Mike Tyson. But he's an old man. And I think Jake knows he's going to have to punch him. So, but what if he accidentally knocks him down? He's an old man. Let's make the gloves heavier. Let's make the rounds shorter. So that very much points to there's no knockout. There's not going to be a knockout. Tyson is not going to be able to do it to Jake Paul. He's just not. He's too young. He's not going to be able to do it. Yeah, Mike Tyson could knock me out 100%. But Jake Paul is a boxer. He's not going to be able to knock him out. And even if he could physically, Jake Paul, who brings the contract to the table in something that is no longer just normal boxing. This is an event. So there's contract signed. It's not a professional bout. It's not governed by anything. It's make your own rules up. Okay, well, here's the rules, Mike. You're not knocking me out. And maybe Jake's like, I'm not knocking you out. Mike Tyson's not going to knock out Jake Paul because there's no benefit to Jake, who's bringing this to the table, to being knocked out by Mike Tyson. And Mike has power, of course. Okay, well, shorter rounds, less time to be knocked out. Heavier gloves, so less chance of being knocked out. So we can just punch each other. Give someone the entertainment and the circus that we're putting on, that people are paying for, because it's the world of money now, not about real boxing. Jake, in the same thought process, Mike Tyson's a legend. He's met him, he knows about him. They actually, by the looks of things, are friends. You're not going to want to punch a 58-year-old man to the floor. Especially as we know about brain injuries that can happen in boxing. This ain't real boxing. So he's not going to be like, right, I'm like, if I beat you and I punch you to the floor and hurt you and give you brain damage, like, that's not what this is going to be about. So Jake's going to be aware of that. So again, shorter rounds, there's less chance of doing this, less time to do it. Heavier gloves, there's less chance to knock him out. So is there going to be a knockout? No, there won't be a knockout. Neither one of them will knock each other out. But the bookies have it like 8-15 that roughly there is a knockout, and 2-1 not a knockout. So the bookies seem to think there will be a knockout. But no matter which way you look at it, there's not going to be a knockout. There isn't. Of course there isn't. But the bookies see it from a sport perspective, and this is where you have an angle. The bookies see it as a sport perspective. It's a boxing fight. Jake's the younger man. Like, he's going to win. He's the favourite to win. And he's going to win by knockout. But this is not a normal boxing fight. Jake's not going to knock an old man out because that would hinder him going forward as a brand. This is no longer boxing. This is brand. This is him as a social media, as an influencer, as a name. There's no benefit. So when Jake and Mike sat down to discuss this, which they have, Mike would have gone, well, I'm not going to knock you out, Jake, so it's not going to further your career. Do I have the power? Maybe. Okay, well, let's make the rounds shorter and the gloves heavier, so it's not going to hurt as much and you're not going to get hurt. Okay? And Jake's like, I'm not going to knock out a living legend, old man, that could cause injuries. Like, no. So no knockouts. No knockouts. And as much as the media's like, oh, knockouts are allowed, that's just to sell the fight. The way this has been produced is to sell the fight in an arena now that isn't about boxing anymore. It's about the event. It's like old school gladiators. You would go watch the event. Money is what ticks over now. Is there going to be a knockout? No, absolutely not. Will not be a knockout. So the fight to go the distance in shorter rounds with heavier gloves, 2-1, all over that. But then you also got to think, okay, does Jake Paul win on points? Or is it a draw? Or more controversial, is it a split decision? Because that creates more media. People in the comments, this is social media now. This is not boxing of old when Mike Tyson was young. This is now social media based, where a lot of the people's names and is talked about in the comments, in the likes, in the shares. It's much bigger than the fight. This is why normal influencers get into boxing, because people be commenting saying, oh, they're already doing it. People always commenting, talking. The circus is being ramped up, so people pay and tune in to watch this. Netflix are going to get some money off it. So a draw would help both of them. Mike Tyson's like, I still got it. He carries on into his 60s, happy days. Does he want to go down with another loss on his career? Is there any benefit to him? But also, he's like, he could be helping out the younger man who's up and coming. I remember, this man is not the man he used to be. Done a lot of psychedelics. He's very different in the way he sees the world. Maybe he's like, I want to help this young man out. So, helping him out by Jake Paul winning. Yeah, Mike Tyson take the money, go and retire, happy days. Lost to the younger man, still stayed on his feet, got a lot of respect. Split decision creates typing. Oh yeah, I thought he won. No, I thought he won. No, I thought he won. Oh, that wasn't fair. Oh, no. A draw also does the same type of thing. Oh, there's going to be a rematch. No, of course not going to be a rematch. He's 58. There will be no rematch. But a draw would allow both of them to be like, Jake Paul, I didn't lose to the greatest boxer ever. Mike Tyson, I still got it, can match it with the young men. But that's the thing, this is already decided. This fight is yet to go ahead. It's now Wednesday, and it's happening on, Sunday morning. This fight is yet to go ahead, but it's already been scripted. As this video is being made right now, Wednesday the 13th of November, this fight has already been scripted, what's going to happen. Mike Tyson won't win. Nope. There will be no knockout. Nope. Everything points towards that. So then you've got to think, okay, so it's either Jake Paul win, whether it's unanimous or split, or draw. Now, both of those help both of them. Mike Tyson ain't going to care. He lost to the younger man. He's 60 going into retirement. No one gives a shit. The younger generation aren't even asked about Mike Tyson. Didn't even know who he was or is until he come into the limelight because of this. So he's got more. He doesn't need notoriety anymore. He doesn't need fame anymore. He's a changed man. Doesn't need a couple of quid in his pocket? Yeah. And that's why this circus is being promoted, to extra few quid so he can retire. He can just go into his life, happy days. So Mike Tyson losing, he's not going to give a shit. He knows it was scripted. He's helping the younger man out. If he draws, same type of thing. Either way, people are going to be talking about it, and that's going to create traction, which then creates money. It just does. So, putting money on Jake Paul to win is pointless. It's 8 to 15, you're going to get 50% of your profit back. You put 100 quid on, you're going to get 50 quid profit back. Pointless. However, fight to go the distance, 2 to 1. So you put 100 quid on, you get £200 profit. That makes sense. Fight to go the distance at 2 to 1. I can't see. There's not going to be a knockout. Mike Tyson can't knock him out. Big ass gloves, short rounds, ain't going to happen. Jake Paul is not going to benefit from smashing an old man to the canvas. Oh, I beat Mike Tyson, who's next? The backlash from it would not benefit him going forward. And they both know that while they're chatting and creating this contract in the first place. Mike Tyson's not going to go, yeah, no problem, knock me out. No. He's not going to. Why would he do that? You can make a few quid. Okay, well, how about the fight goes the distance? Like, knocks him out in the first round. All this circus, all this pantomime, all this money, all these subscriptions, all paid for what? It's over like that. They're going to want to give the paying fans the eight rounds, the 16 minutes. Not going to want to give them 30 seconds or 1 minute. It's just not a real fight. They want to give a circus. They want to give a pantomime. So will it go the full distance? Yeah, it will. It will go the full distance. But then at the end, does it become controversy of split decision, which creates talking points within social media? Does it become a draw, which then creates talking points within social media? Or does it Jake Paul win, because that's the natural path for Jake Paul to carry on with his life as a young man, and Mike Tyson just slowly fade into the background with a bit of money in his pocket? So, bets I would place in, fight to go the distance, yes, and a few quid on a draw, because it makes sense. Jake Paul should, as a normal fight, he would win, but it's shorter rounds and it's heavier gloves. Sorry, it's a lighter impact. But all those talking points, as a bookie's perspective, as a money making perspective, there's no point putting money on Jake Paul to win that. There's no point. There's no point in it whatsoever. A draw would be beneficial to both of them and get the desired outcome for both of them, and also guarantees there is no knockout. Can the judges be paid off? Yeah, judges are paid off all the time. That's happened for decades. And the judges might not be the official judges. Most judges just make it up as they go along. Like, they're just different scores. One could be like 10-8 and the other one's like 10-8 the other way. Like, boxing judges have always been based on opinion. So we've seen so many fights over the years where someone's won when no one really agrees with it. There's a draw when no one really agrees with it, but it gets just into the distance, into the background. It's just a memory. So even if there was controversy and that was never a draw, that was never a split decision, it creates more talking points, doesn't it? More talking points, more notoriety, more fame, which is useful for more Jake Paul, because he's the one who brought this to the table, but also Mike Tyson. Gets a bit of money, bit of fame, happy days. He can kind of go into retirement, buy some more psychedelics, whatever, small pigeons. So these are just my thought processes. Fight to go a distance, yes. And a little bit of money on a draw, because it makes sense. Anything else, knockout, is not going to be a knockout. It makes no sense, and the rounds have been shortened, and the gloves have been made so that there isn't going to be one. And when they came together to create this contract, oh yeah, no problem, just smash me to bits. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a knockout. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But the bookies seem to think there is. Okay, well, I'll take your money then, bookies. Thank you. Fight to go the distance. Yes. 100%. Of course it will. More entertainment, because that's what's being brought to the table. This is not a boxing fight. It's entertainment. 5 minutes of entertainment is pointless. 16 minutes of entertainment. People are going to enjoy that more, aren't they? Fight to go the distance. Yes, 100%. And then it goes to the judges' scorecards. So whether it's Mike Tyson, which is never going to happen. There's no point to that whatsoever. Jake Paul, yeah, makes sense. But whether it's split decision or not, putting Jake Paul to win, the money ain't there to do it. Not enough money to be made by doing that. Putting on split decisions, there's no point in that. Fight to go the distance, yes, that's my big one for it. 2-1 you're looking at there. So for every pound you put on, you get £2 back in profit. So if you put £100 on, fight to go the distance, you'd walk out of the bookies with £300. £100 was yours at the beginning and £200 profit. And a draw, you're looking about anywhere between 10 and 15-1, depending on your bookie. So that's worth it. You could go into the bookies and put £10 on a draw, £10 on fight to go the distance, and £1 for it to be a draw. And that's the thing. Both of them could then win. It could go the distance and then be the draw. So you could put £10 on fight to go the distance and walk away with £30 there. And then you could put £1 on it being a draw. And if that's 10-1, you get another tenner there. So you've staked £11 and you've actually got £30 profit out of it. And one of those bets won't negate the other. Like fight to go the distance and a draw. Because that's an opportunity. Fight not to go the distance can't be a draw, can it? Just trying to get myself in the head of these two people and what benefits them and the world that's around them and what's mutually beneficial. The bookies ain't got a clue. The bookies got fucking zero clue. They're just looking at it from a sports perspective. This is not a sport that's happening. This is entertainment that's going on this weekend. Fight to go the distance. That's where shorter odds, but that's guaranteed. And a draw would suit both parties, and it's worth it at like 10 to 15-1 is a long shot. Watch, telling you.